Is being recorded.
So this is being recorded. We are now live on Facebook and being recorded. And let's continue the conversation of the different types of senior housing.
One of the things I was asking everybody is the types of style of senior housing there are, senior communities there are out there, and it's always growing. And one of the things that was in there was college dorm mothers. And I would love for Debbie to expand, thank you, Amy, on that. Debbie, can you chime in on what is college dorm mothers?
I could if they'd unmute me.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I've had a lot of my college, my high school friends, their mothers have went back to be dorm parents in colleges. So they moved out of their house because the spouse died, and they got their own little dorm room to themselves, and they got to play chaperone in dorms. And I know several of them that did it for a long time. They get paid, they get free housing, and they're around, you know, what I'll call younger crowd that they enjoy.
They also have that for sororities and fraternities. I know they have that as well. In fact, it's kind of to expand on what you were saying. One of the 55 plus communities that I was researching is university style living. There's 55 communities that are popping up around colleges and universities all over the US for professors and people that like the higher education learning, so they can either go back to school or work on the school campus. And they have a lot of benefits for that style of senior living that correlates and connects with the college campus. So I'll pop in a link to a website that I have so you can kind of see that, which is kind of interesting. And I think there's a stigma on the 55 plus living community personally. That people don't realize there's a lot out there than just your standard 55 plus community. Anybody want to? Yes, Amy. So I had asked that question, I'm sorry, about different styles of senior living, and ADU units are a big thing right now. That's a big comeback, tax breaks, bunch of stuff that goes on with that one. I love the dorm mom.
So what does ADU stand for?
Anybody want to? Accessory dwelling unit. And typically, in Los Angeles, this is becoming a big hot pot because living it's hard to find living. So a lot of people are converting garages and outdoor areas to an outdoor building to an ADU unit, which is like a granny flat, as another name for this style of living. Anybody else know other styles of living? NORC, the naturally occurring retirement communities. Eve, you want to expand on that one?
Well, I only know a couple of sentences that I can expand upon it because it's pretty new and I've only just started. It's places that weren't originally designed for retirement communities. It could be just a neighborhood where a bunch of seniors get together and say, we're going to make a community here. Or it could be something like those malls or places that turn into senior living communities. So something that didn't initially start out that way. Yeah.
So it's really interesting that you say that, because in New York, they have taken a mall and they are redesigning the mall and repurposing and reuse for senior living. They're going to have different levels of care throughout the mall, and they'll have an indoor park-like settings. And so people can use this. Is happening in upstate New York. And given that we're seeing a lot of stuff in the commercial sector that's available, this may be a way that senior living is going. I don't know. This is something to watch because it could affect the way senior living is headed. It's going to be interesting how this comes up. Any other ones? Roommates. I think one of the coin phrases, Golden Girls. I love that style. Any multi-generational
living.
You want to explain what that is?
Well, I have one here. So what we did, we have a walkout basement. And so we put a washer and dryer and a little kitchenette. It's got a big master bedroom, bathroom downstairs, a rec room, dining room, all combinations. It's about 1,500 square feet. So my daughter uses that. That's where she stays, and we live upstairs in the rancher. So if you look at the front of my house, you see a rancher. If you look at the back of my house, you see a 2-story.
and that is one of the things that are on the list.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yes, that is making a comeback as well, especially as all of us are aging and getting older, but we're living a lot longer than our ancestors did.
Well, when this one goes up for sale, that's exactly what it's going to say: multi-generational living.
Yeah. Debbie, I'm going to go on a cruise ship full-time living. I don't know about that senior living, but I like it. Sign me up.
One of my customers sold their house and that's where they're at.
How much would that cost to live on a cruise ship for the rest of your life?
No, but
if you do it right, she went with Holland American and she got what I'll call a pretty good deal, considering when you start adding up, you're getting all your food, your housing, your utilities, your everything included. It came out pretty reasonable for her.
Really?
So, but she, you cut a deal because you're on there 365 days of the year and that they're sailing. And then I'm sure she probably, did something because she was a tour director in her past.
Oh,
so
so
I'm
she
sure,
still works there.
yeah, I'm sure that she probably negotiated some tour negotiations there too. So, but it's an option.
Yeah, when I looked at it, it was anywhere, depending on the cruise ship. There was 2 ways to do it. There was cruise ships that have been converted to homes or condo type style living. And the one I was looking at was anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million. And then the monthly maintenance, I think the maintenance fee was about $3,500. Now this was about 7 years ago.
$3,500 a month.
A month.
Yeah.
And that included, as Debbie said, everything, your entertainment, to get the cruise ship from port to port, so on and so forth, plus your entertainment, your food, everything. And then they took a 2-week maintenance. The ship docked somewhere for 2 weeks and did maintenance, updated whatever they needed to update and things like that. So when I looked at it, it really wasn't all that bad when I looked at it. And then there's the mindset of just taking a 2-week cruise here, then jumping on the next cruise for 2 weeks or a month and so on and so forth. Because, there are people who just like to cruise. I love to cruise, but I don't know that I could do it for 50 weeks or 52 weeks out of the year.
I think I'll live in an RV in the campsite for 9 months and then
Yeah.
get an Airbnb for 3.
So the cost at the time I was looking at it really wasn't all that bad.
Wow. Well, you can still see the world.
Yeah. I mean, Debbie says RV full-time living. We've got 2 people here in Florida and they're part of the leadership here in Florida. They live in their RV.
You can't.
And I spoke to someone, he said he and his wife lived in an RV, I think it was 7 years. And he said it was a lot of work.
Mhm.
So what are y'all's input about that? Have you heard anything?
Here, you can only stay at the park for, I think it's 9 months out of the year. So you have to go somewhere the other 3 months. So you could go to Florida for 3 months or something like that, right?
I don't know that I could live in a confined space like that.
Yeah, the hookup and unhooking, all that was a lot of work.
Well, another thing to keep in mind, as we know, getting rid of our belongings as we get older is very difficult. And so when you have to condense a home that you've been in your entire life to a little small confined space, but it's less appealing than maybe some other options. However, it's affordable. And when you look at senior care, it's skyrocketing, and it's not like your insurance or, the government is going to be able to help you with certain financial needs that you're going to need. So your living space is important. One of the other, I don't know if you guys had any other, wanted to add any of the other type of senior living options to this list. But
I forgot where I got this from, but there's one called Leading Response, and they're having a seminar tomorrow on what seniors and their loved ones want in a community.
that seems to be a really big thing is if seniors are moving, your community is a big thing. Could you drop that link in there? So maybe if anybody wants to attend it?
Just did.
Oh, good. Thank you.
See if that works for you.
Yeah, it's always great. Educate and empower yourself so you can give that information to your potential buyers and sellers. But with that being said, just out of curiosity, how many of you are actually marketing to seniors right now? Just drop in yes or no in the comment section, just to get an idea of how many people are actively marketing to senior markets. Amy Roberts, she wants our group to collaborate on a cruise ship for a week. I think that's a great idea. In fact, Donald, Debbie, Laura, and myself were talking about doing a AXP Seniors News a cruise ship thing for all of us. Roger says no, but have two that I'm working with. Laura says yes. Donald, yes. So marketing, how do you market to seniors? How are you guys all marketing to seniors? Are you marketing daily, monthly, weekly? And if so, in what form? On your website, newsletters, TikTok, anything?
I'll let you do the TikTok for us. You do pretty.
I got 800 views on my TikTok on senior living options.
Probably more like 8,000.
Senior living options, like who knew?
Yeah.
Giving stats that they desire. Okay, so Debbie, that is a key to senior living. People like stats. They like numbers. And I love that because statistics is a great way to get into working with seniors. If you're not already marketing to seniors, that happens to be one of the great ways to just get yourself in the door, because statistics and numbers are something that we all can relate to. Dan says newsletter, some Facebook ads, and join local senior action network. So Dan, can you expand on that, what a senior action network is? Maybe some of us have them where we live.
Yeah, it's a group that services seniors in the area. So all types of services, from living to medical equipment, to health and safety, helping seniors care for themselves at home, and so they do fundraising and provide assistance to seniors. They also do the Meals on Wheels, and they do events for seniors in the area. So it's a pretty well connected group. And then each month, we meet each month, and they have guest speakers on issues that deal with the seniors and especially seniors in the local area.
Do you add that information you learn from the Senior Action Network incorporate it into your newsletters and to your Facebook ads to help promote?
Yeah, when they have events, I'll put the events in there. They did an online auction, and so I put that on there, and I'm trying to remember. I think there was one other event. So things like that, if they're doing, then I'll put that in the newsletter.
So there's a few things that I see a lot of real estate agents doing, and one of them is the statistics and connection by connecting to something that they get, and that is statistics. But the other one is connecting them to a community or to their community. And Dan, I think that's a great idea, because using that information in your newsletter then connects those seniors to the community as well. I know there's also something like that. It's called the Village Network. We actually did a TikTok on this, and they have it everywhere. So it's something else that you guys might want to check out in your own areas that you can kind of incorporate and bring into maybe a newsletter or into social media posts to help seniors with other information. I know one of the other things that you can also connect with on that type of platform is finding stuff in your community that's senior based and giving them the information if there's like freebies going on. One of the freebies I was actually talking about earlier before we all got on was phones. They've got these special call captioning phones for seniors who have a really bad eyesight. However, a lot of seniors don't know about this free phone. But yet every one of us on this call, on the Zoom call, is paying for those phones. So in our telephone bills, whether you're paying on a cellular or a regular phone, you're paying a tax for that phone. That phone's going to seniors. So maybe if you gave your seniors or networking ideas about this call captioning phone, and then showing them, where to find it, is another great freebie for them, but you really didn't do anything. You just found the information and gave it to them for free. I see Amy Roberts said, what's it called again, Heather? Hey, Eve's gonna drop the link in there so you guys can see it, and it's just something that you can tell people it's free, but it's like Sean Cochran. He finds all this information and it's all free to all of us, but we just don't know where to find it. Well, as a senior real estate agent, let's just help them find it. It's free.
Yeah, and that's a type of information that I publish in my newsletter. So it's the newsletter isn't a senior newsletter, it's a real estate newsletter that covers local events, and then it has a senior section in it. And so I will put information like you're talking about when I find it, and I've actually used some of the things that we've covered here, and put in the senior section of the newsletter.
Dan, would you please drop a newsletter, if you can, in the comment section so we can see what one of your newsletters looks like? Because I know that's something we haven't covered, and we would really like to cover newsletters and helping everybody make a newsletter. Canva.com has it for free. You could make them through there. But I would love to see the newsletter, just so we can all see what it looks like.
I send it via the KV Core email link, and so if I can figure out a way to link it, it'd be easier to just send it to mass email to you guys.
Just copy and paste the link.
There's a link to an email in KV Core?
No, if you go to one of the emails that was sent out, there's a link in there. Just copy the link over. No. When you send the email, is there a link that goes to your newsletter, or is the newsletter part of it?
It goes to everybody's email.
Okay, so it's part of it.
Yeah. They're part of it. Yeah. So everybody's in my database. It goes out as an email to them via KV Core.
How do they open?
Is it a newsletter that you write, or is it?
Yes, yeah, because I try to up level from being the standard, template that you just sign up and if somebody sends out stuff for you. So I try to personalize it and just put, so I update it myself every week.
Well, if you can
But
figure that out on one of our.
Yeah.
I'd
And
love
if somebody wants to give me an email, I can send you on over, but then you'll be in my database.
That's okay, here.
That's okay.
Then you'll be getting one a couple times a month.
And by the way, anybody on this call, that's a really great idea to be able to get his newsletter so you guys can just kind of not copy it verbatim, but get ideas, because a lot of us are stuck in not being able to find ideas, or what do I write, or you have writer's block. And so it's a really great way to look at other agents and other people's what they're doing, and see how you can pull some of that information and work it into what you're doing. And so, by the way, I see a lot of people putting their email addresses in there. So Dan, I hope you're collecting them and you're putting them in your database so we can see them.
I'm glad to get his.
Yeah, I'll
newsletter.
put you, maybe I can just do it by adding it to one of the emails and just forward it to you.
Yeah. So getting back to different styles of living, one of the other styles of living that not many people, if any of you on this chat actually know about, is called expat. And an expat community, there's lots of them. And if you want to talk about international, like we're with company that's huge. We have agents all over the world. And this is a great idea to be able to market to seniors who want to live outside of the United States because they're not happy with what's going on here. And maybe they will find another area that caters to senior living. There's great websites for this expat community that can give you ideas. They've got the top 10 places that can, and they'll talk about how much it costs, what it entails, what type of people live there, what it has to offer you. So that's just another style of senior living that not many of us really know about, but yet you can market and still get a referral fee if you're you're selling a house and you're referring them to another country. And if you can get a referral fee if you're working with them inside of our company. So that's just another idea.
We had that in EXP too with the guy from France. His mother's still there, the global marketing agent, the GMA.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about
we have a lot going to Mexico, actually.
Huh?
I just did a short-term rental, which they're actually going to be moving full-time with one of our somebody in Mexico that they wanted. So I just did a referral on this. It is something that more people are actually thinking of doing, of leaving the country and going somewhere else. It's just another style of senior living that you can offer to people or educate them on, because not many people know about it. Donald Maycock put in the expat community stuff that was going on. There's so much. I'd love to hear what other people have to say, and I'd like to open it up if anybody wants to talk.
So one of the questions I get often is, where do I go get leads? Where do I find seniors that are looking to buy and sell? One of the best places to go, believe it or not, we all have them in our communities, are VFWs, American Legions, places like that. If you're not a veteran, go volunteer there and see how many people you can meet that are looking to buy and sell real estate. Obviously, it's going to be all about building relationship and building rapport, but that's a great place to go meet people. We happen here in the Villages, we happen to have the largest American Legion here, and there's tons of people that go there every day. So that's another place to go find, people that are looking to buy and sell.
You also have senior centers, local senior centers, bingo nights. There's a senior center that's in Los Angeles. I know Eve has joined where she does line dancing. If you find something that you like to do, even though it's a senior center, it is open to all ages and you can go, but engage in the senior market and it's great. It's wonderful. It's giving back to the community and being a part of the senior market. It's not going away. It's only getting bigger. And it's only getting larger.
Did you say Eve was teaching us line dancing?
Oh, Eve will be teaching us line dancing after she's done at the senior center learning line dancing.
I'm still building my repertoire.
But the point is that unless you're willing to get involved or get yourself into it, this market, it's not going away. It's only going to get bigger. And so it's nice if we can understand it, embrace it, and work it to the best of our ability. And that the only way to do that is to educate and empower ourselves with knowledge. And the types of senior living that's out there. You want to be known as the realtor who knows everything in the senior market. And by doing that is educating yourself in all the styles that are out there. It's not just what our book told us. I know a lot of you have been asking about SRES. They're coming and they're doing a class for us in January. So we have that designation that's coming. They do have a broad range of senior living options, but like I said, this market is ever growing and it's hard to keep up with it because it's always new and evolving. And the more you can get in on the ground floor and get involved with senior living care that's out there or facilities that are just being built in your area, they have, they've got, facilities that they need to fill. And maybe if you have a connection with one of those facilities, you can get people in there and sell their house at the same time and help them find somewhere to go. Connections.
So Eve mentions, have we mentioned aging in place? Imagine that. So let's talk about aging in place. What is the real definition of aging in place? Because it gets thrown around in many different conversations and means different things to different people. So the aging in place experts.
70% of homeowners plan on aging in place. So I'm going to let that sink in and let people answer that question.
Aging in place is staying in your home, in a safe, comfortable home, whether it's where you're living now or you determine that the home that you live in now cannot be made fit to live. So you move into a place and you want to just live at home. It doesn't mean that you're not getting help brought in, but it means you're in a home where you're safe and comfortable. Does that make sense? Is there more? You can elaborate.
Well, I think that's people's misconception is the home that they're in right now, and it isn't. And so us as real estate agents have to identify the barriers in somebody's home that make it unsafe for them not to age in place. Amy Roberts, wouldn't you agree? Because you work with certified aging in place. I mean, when you're talking about aging in place, barrier free.
Absolutely.
So I think, once again, educating and empowering yourself, what does aging in place mean? And Donald, that's a great question.
I would say that it's being confident and independent in your home as long as you can. That's kind of my message that I preach.
So would you say somebody that owns a 2-story home, been there since the 70s or the 60s, they're in their 80s, would you say a 2-story home with no bedroom on the bottom floor, on the first floor, a small tiny little bathroom with just a sink and a toilet, and a huge second level with everything, lots of stairs, lots of throw rugs, low lighting, not a lot of big doorways, aren't really big, would you say that's a great place to age in place?
It's certainly not visitable.
what is the design called for aging in place? You remember?
Such a question.
Eve, do you want to tell them what the housing design is called for aging in place?
There are several. There's universal design. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. So universal design helps you age in place.
So what does that really mean? Is it a single story, multi-story, as long as it has an elevator or an escalator?
Well, my 87-year-old father lives in a 2-story. He can barely stand up, and he has a stair climber. So I asked him, because it's hard to get around. If he had a choice, he could just move right now to a single story. He wouldn't have to worry about the stair climber. He said he wouldn't even move because the stair climber makes it possible. So it doesn't necessarily mean a 2-story house isn't okay, as long as you have all these equipment. So the basic things that we read about were, the level, the 0-step entry, the full bathroom and full bedroom on the first floor, and you get the handrails in the bathroom, the raised toilet, and a shower seat, and go from there. How's that sound?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
There's 1,000 points of a checklist that you could go through. Amy, have you ever have you done home assessments, and what is that like?
I have not done a home assessment yet,
You haven't.
No. but I'm ready.
So what does a home assessment consist of? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Who wants to? Well, has anyone here done the home assessment and wants to talk about it when you assess a home for safety, for aging in place? Anybody? Debbie?
I've done them, but not to the degree that you do, because we have a different environment here. In Orlando, I did them. But, to me, it's looking at what the possibilities are to keep them in that home versus having to take the memories and throw them away, which is always the big problem. So my dad lives in a 2-story house with the full basement. He never sees the upstairs. He never sees the basement. He's got a full bathroom, full bedroom on the first floor, and that's it. As far as what he sees, but he would never move from there to save his life. So it's the thing, it's all about the memories that are made and what you could do to modify the home to make it safe for them to stay there, versus there's no way you could stay there because you have no bedroom, no chair lift, no elevator.
Now, the statistics on the homes that actually can age in place are very small in the US, which means a lot of people are going to have to sell because they physically aren't going to be able to age in place in their home. It's going to be impossible. They're not going to be able to put an elevator lift up to their second floor, or they're not going to be able to afford it. So that's where we as agents come in, because we know the senior market. Every area has a senior niche to it. I can tell you, like in California, there's a tax break for seniors that are selling their home over a certain age, and they can take that tax benefit and and pay the property tax on their next home. So can you imagine that they bought a home in 1963 and they can't age in place in it? There's just no possibility. So they want to sell it, but they're thinking in their mind, the market's crazy, I'm not gonna be able to afford it, and property taxes, holy cow. I can tell you a majority of seniors have no idea that they voted on this property tax or that it's around. And I, as a real estate agent, didn't even remember until I started investigating. And so I'm sure that every state has some sort of benefit for seniors. And if you can find a benefit to offer them and to show them and to educate them on it, it's great. So I put out a TikTok about this specific tax break, and I got a referral from it. I got a referral from it. I got a referral for not only selling his home, but helping him find a new home for him to age a place in. I mean, it's very simple. I gave free information that I found out about. It wasn't that hard. And so every state has something to offer seniors.
Ours has
Just
very
find
little.
out what it is.
Ours has
The
very
what?
little. Our state has
Yeah.
very little. The state of Georgia
Yeah.
only had 2 counties that offered anything.
And what are y'all talking about? What are they offering?
Ours was in Georgia. We lived in Woodstock, and there's Cherokee County. Cherokee County separated the taxes out. So they said this part of your tax is for your house, and this part is a school tax. And once you get a certain age, you get to not pay the school tax. And the school tax was about 80% of your tax bill. So you got a 20%. When we were in Florida, we got the homestead and it was 25%, $25,000 off, wasn't it? We lived in Orlando, so I think we got
Yes.
$25,000 taken off our tax bill.
And
the
now
homes.
it's 50.
Now it's 50,000. Yeah, because the price is going up. In Virginia, my stepfather is 84 years old and he gets hardly nothing. And his income isn't that high, but you have to be way under the table to get anything in this state.
Yeah, in Cumming, Georgia, it's the same thing, Roger.
Yeah, Cumming did it and Cherokee did it. Yep. Now Cobb started doing it too. East Cobb started doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
we've been doing that in Dallas, Texas for as long as I've been, forever.
Mhm.
How many of y'all are utilizing the benefit of doing a reverse mortgage to either stay in place or to use for purchase? I have used
Also, my
that
aunt is doing that.
successfully. Say that again, Roger.
My aunt is doing that, or my aunt, depends on what part of the country you're from.
I
Right,
use them all the time.
yeah.
One of the best tools out there, one of the best mortgage tools out there for seniors.
I'm planning
especially-
on using it next year when I turn 62. I'm using it.
So-
I'm not far behind. I'm waiting for the prices to correct a little bit and I'll be with you.
There you go.
So when I was talking about the California one, it's Proposition 19 in California. And that is, it allows a homeowner after a certain age to transfer the tax value of their primary residence to a replacement primary residence only in the state of California. They cannot take it out of California because California wants their money. But it can happen anywhere in California, and it has to happen within 2 years of the sale of the original property. And it has to be the same price or lower because there's tax implications once you go above that price. So that's just California, but there are things that are out there. I don't know because I'm not in other states. However, it's something that is real estate agents working in the senior market. Arm yourself, educate yourself, and throw up that knowledge to your sphere of the people that you want to work with, because they want that knowledge. And they probably don't know that it's out there. Like this Prop 19, I did a TikTok, didn't know, one person, that's all it takes is one person. So it's just a thought.
One
In
person,
Florida-
2 deals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In Florida, we have portability of the homestead. So you have to buy within 5 years. I don't think there's any limit as far as higher or lower. But the good news is if you bought 20 years ago, you're going to have a savings over current taxes.
Yeah.
So
And so I hope that all of us take away from here a little piece of something to be able to use before we see each other next time. I am happy to open it up to questions, ideas. We'd love feedback on other things that you guys would like to see us do. It's something that we're always looking for. So please drop it in the chat box or open up your mics and talk to us, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Can I just say one thing? Can you hear me? Yeah, last week I had a fun time giving a little Canva tutorial, and there were a few questions, and I answered them and posted them in the Seniors Network on Facebook. If anybody had wanted to check those out, you can check those out on the Seniors Network on Facebook. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Let me share with you what I've been doing. You had asked about how you were people were marketing. And what I've been doing is a lot of word of mouth and then some social media posting. One of the things that I say that I specialize in is helping seniors get rid of all their stuff when they die or move. And I'm doing one of my high schools. So I network with my high school a lot. Their parents are passing away and I'm selling their homes for them. So instead of using estate sellers, I've been using Max Sold. Have y'all used Max Sold yet? Have you talked about that? If you go to maxsold.com, tell them I referred you. They should give me an affiliate link. I said, I want an affiliate link, please. They don't have that yet, but what they do is they actually have people who will come in and catalog. You have to hire organizers to come in and take things out of boxes and kind of put things in place, but they do have people that will help do that. And then what they do is they have an app and they take pictures of it, they put it online, and they do online auction. So people are not coming through the house, and I've had extremely good success with Max Sold. Because what happens is there are a lot of resellers in your area. What they do is they buy off of the auction and then they resell it themselves on different, Facebook or whatever. So, and they have certain niches that they like. Some will want all kitchens, some will want tools, whatever. So what Max Sold does is they only charge 30% of the gross sales. So it's less, and then they charge $700 for the cataloging, which is worth it. I've done my own sale and I cataloged it, and it was easy, but it's just as affordable to have them do it for you. So in doing that, I have had all of my clients tell me that I was a hero for them. They just so much appreciate it. I did one, and they, especially for hoarders, I did one, they were a technology hoarder, and we made $15,000 off of that sale. So, so my seller netted a little over $10,000. And the thing is the sellers, there is no way they could mentally go through what they need to get rid of that stuff. So I like it better than the estate sale. Actually, my sister is an estate seller, but I like it better because the people aren't coming through the house. They're not picking through things. They're not, you're not having to negotiate. You're not having to go down in price. You're getting multiple offers on the offers online, which is nice. They bid against each other. Okay. So when you call them, tell them I referred you. I think they'll give me a referral. I don't know.
This is a great tool to have in your toolbox.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. We actually had a speaker by the name of Marnie Jameson come on and talk about the stress and anxiety for seniors when it comes to downsizing and hoarding. And one of the biggest things is why they hold on to it and they keep it so tightly.
Yeah.
And the hard part of letting it go, and the person on the receiving end of dealing with that, but the psychology behind it. And so when you can have, as a senior real estate agent, and in this market, we need people in our network to help.
Okay.
And that's a great resource for us to look at.
A great allied resource. And they don't allow for a minimum bid or reserve, but what they do allow is once they've loaded everything up online you can show it to the owner and say, is there anything in here that you want to keep? And they will pull that item before they make it go live. Once it's live though, they won't pull it. So, but the owners that I've worked with have really liked it. So, and I feel that I've gotten excellent values for my owners doing
Well,
it.
thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Going back to that expat really fast, Debbie Gentry talked about Costa Rica being a big one for Florida residents. So just to put that in there. Amy Roberts, I love your idea. Amy asked if we can all put our social media in our chat box so we can all kind of follow each other and see what we're doing for the senior market. I think it's a great idea for us to get ideas. I think copying somebody is a form of flattery. Some people don't, they get offended by it. However, this market, there's not many people in there doing it. And I suggest you hop on board and you skyrocket with the senior market, because we're kind of at the forefront with our group and with this demographics, because it's, I don't know any agents that are really just basing everything on this and networking in a group like this setting. So yes, imitation is flattery. It's not copying. Thank you, Eve. I appreciate that. I'm going to have everybody go in and put their stuff in the chat box. If anybody wants to say anything, please go ahead and do so. Donald, Debbie, Laura, any last words?
My question is, everybody put in the chat, what's your top 2 lead generations besides your sphere past clients? What else generates the most leads for you? Paid or otherwise? So Dan, did you teach yourself Google Ads or did you learn from somebody?
Yeah, to both. I think you or somebody on here was the one that was kind of pushing it. And so I just got on there and put my business in there and called myself the best agent in the area. And so I just get people consistently, a couple of weeks, just kind of popping in my KV Core. They're haven't converted many yet, but at least it seems to be getting some traction.
We did learn that here, and that was an amazing class. I believe who taught us that class? Who taught that class? Do you remember?
Sheila.
Was it Sheila?
Sheila, yeah, I think it might have been Sheila. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
great class.
Yeah, Google Places is what she taught us, and then
This is
Google
my
Ads.
later, by the way. Sorry, I had to interrupt, but she gets more listings just by walking around the neighborhood. I'm not kidding you guys. So if you don't have a dog, get a dog. Sorry. All right. So Sheila, what was the class that Sheila taught? Was that Sheila Fageron or a different Sheila?
No, Sheila Cahoon, but you can find that class that we taught on Google Ads in our group, in this network group. We've got all of the recordings. So you can find it, you could watch the recording. It's, 45 minutes long. It teaches you everything. Keywords. She really kind of hones in on what you really need and the meat of it. For it. So it was a great idea. Yeah, it was a great class, and it's here in our group. So you can just scroll down and find it.
Yeah, I have some work to do with it, but at least it's dumping some people into my KV Core at the moment. So that's the main thing I'm doing right now.
I like hearing when things work for agents that we've brought in, and people have been able to kind of twist it and turn it and work it for them. Because this market, like I said, it's untapped. So people aren't used to or don't know how to market to this demographics. Anybody?
Yeah, we're winding down when there's 4 minutes left, and we just want to thank everybody for coming this evening. Hopefully you've learned a couple of golden nuggets from everybody who has been providing some good information. I've taken away several things. I've already copied down 3 or 4 different websites for sure. And just want to thank everybody. We're thinking about having a meeting next week, maybe not having a meeting next week, being that the holidays are coming and everybody seems to be in holiday mode. If we don't, please have a wonderful holiday and a happy and healthy new year. And we will see you after the first of the new year.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I'm just about, I've got to do some workarounds on this newsletter, so I might make it by 8 o'clock. Otherwise, you'll see it at 8:30. Because that's
Okay.
what the times when these come out. I have to schedule it. And so, yeah, just appreciate any feedback also. Just one caveat, and I did model it a little bit after Ricky Caruth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he put just, it's just very simple and nothing fancy, but just kind of got some information in there that hopefully is helpful.
Well, I thank you very much. I want to personally thank everybody for showing up. And once again, I want to thank our board, Donald Maycott, Debbie Gentry, and Laura, wherever you guys are, and myself, for you guys coming and showing up and wanting to learn this market, because we really enjoy it ourselves. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. And look for more information if we're going to have a class and some other statistics that'll be out there. Got everybody's emails going on in the chat box, so go ahead and grab those, and I'll talk to everybody next time.
Bye-bye.
I'll do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy.
Appreciate it. This is a great group.
Oh, thanks, Barbara. We love it. We have fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do if we don't meet next week.
We're gonna do something. I'm trying to get Eve to do a newsletter with me for
Maybe we'll
That's a
just do a
great idea.
special session for Amy next week.
Oh,
But I
love you guys. Y'all are family now.
want to do a Canva newsletter. That's
I like that.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.